let's go beyond the main method and let's turn about methods. Alright, we find ourselves back in IntelliJ once more, and today is going to be a glorious day because we will learn about methods over here. Now, very important at the very beginning, this is going to mean we're going to go beyond the main method, which is this main right here, right? So this main right here, meaning that we're going to go beyond this curly bracket and this curly bracket, however, remaining in this curly bracket and this curly bracket. Very important. So this is needed for when you need to redo something multiple times, right? And we can predefine certain behavior and tasks and then repeat it. This is a very high level overview, but we'll see, okay? So let's say after the first closing curly bracket, we're going to hit enter a couple of times, and then we're going to write the following. We're going to write a public over here. We're going to write static. We're going to write void, all as individual words, and then we're going to call this test. We're then going to make a parentheses again. The closing parentheses then generates automatically. Once again, an opening curly bracket where the closing one generates automatically as well. And if we hit enter, we're immediately inside. Now we are inside of a method. Now, what does this even mean? Okay, for now, we will think about it like this. For now, all our methods are as follows. Every one of them is going to be public. Every one of them is going to be static. And every one of them is going to be void. So those three words right here are just going to be what we need in order to make a method, okay? Like I said, I will explain each one of those words. We're almost there. I'm telling you, we're almost there. And you're going to understand each one of those words, what they mean, what they do, how you can change them, what the possibilities are that you can basically put in there. But for the time being, we're just going to keep it like this. Now, this is a custom method that we've made. And let's say we want to system out over here, simply test, right? So this is just what we have. Now, obviously, if we just want to output test, we're going to just go in here and we can just say s out and then say test, okay? However, now we have a different way of doing it because now we can call a method, right? We can call a method over here. And that method is test. So if I start writing test, you can see it actually auto-suggests this to me over here, right? So you can see it auto-suggests this to me. So I can hit the tab key and it immediately calls this method. The method name has now also turned from gray, where we can go back over here, gray, it's never used, to indeed, now it is used, yellow. So now this method is used somewhere, it is used here. I can call it, let's say, 3 times. And if I do this, then you can see test will get output 3 times because whatever is within the method will get basically called, right? So as soon as we get to this particular line in the code, what's going to happen, the code, you can think about it as the code jumping into this method and then calling whatever is in the method. Oh, interesting. Now, I will show you this with a bit more of a, what would you say? I will show you this with a bit more of a sort of hands-on example. One thing we will do though, and I will show you now, is now a method with parameters. So that's also quite important. So we're going to add a secondary method. So this is going to be a method with parameters. Now, here is a couple of very important words, okay? Parameter is a very important vocabulary, once again, like a vocab that you need, right? So when you have a method, let's just write out this method. Once again, what we have always is a public static void, right? This is what we have always. The rest we'll explain later. For the time being, I want you to once again put your faith in me that by the end of the series, you will 1000% know what each one of those words mean, and we're going to be able to change those words to other words if you so choose to. So we're going to say this is going to be the output sum. And in the parentheses here, we're now going to write in int x and int y. And once again, of course, the curly bracket over here, there you go. Now, as per usual, of course, the entire code is available to you down below, and you can also check it out there. Now, when you have a method, you have what is called a method signature, okay? A method signature. Now, in this case, it's going to be public. This is going to be a keyword right here, which we could change feasibly. For the time being, we're going to keep it. Then we have this static keyword. For the time being, we'll also keep it, but you can either have it or not have it. Like, that's a possibility. And then we have the return type. Okay, now you might say, wait, return type of void? Yeah, this just means that this method doesn't return anything. We will see this in way more detail further down the line. But yeah, basically, this void over here, we could replace with any data type, and we could have that returned, right? So that's very important. To be honest with you, why not do it right now? Okay, why not do int over here? And then we're going to get an error. Now, what did I tell you very early on? An error is never something to be afraid of, because if you hover over this, you can see it is missing a return statement. Because if a method is not void, right? Void means it doesn't return anything. However, if it's supposed to return something like an integer, then obviously we somehow need to tell the program, hey, this is what it returns. So while this output sum over here is also going to output the sum, I actually also wanted to return something. We'll come back to that in just a second because the method signature continues for just a little bit. We then have a name. So this is basically how a method is structured, right? Public, maybe some other words, static, maybe have it, maybe don't, and then a return type. In this case, we have an integer before we had a void, and we get the name of the method. Very important that the name has a casing. That's super important, right? So while we have a lowercase test, uppercase test, that's not what I wanted. Uppercase test does not exist, right? Casing, once again, is important. This is what I, sometimes where some people fall into the trap of just not caring about the casing. This is not like you just writing a text to your girlfriend. The casing matters, okay? The casing matters. Now, for your name, after the name, you of course get the parentheses, okay? And inside of the parentheses, we can define parameters, parameter type, and the parameter name. It's very important that you know these variables, the names, the vocabulary over here, because if I tell you, hey, look at the output sum method second parameter, you're like, you're going through your mind, output sum second parameter, bam, that's it. Bam, you immediately know what I mean, right? That's why sometimes this vocabulary is very important, right? And that's why you need to look at this and know the vocabulary basically. Now for the output sum method, what do I want it to do? The first thing I want to do is I want to output this, right? So we're going to say the sum of, and then say x plus y, equals, and then this is another plus right here. There's a lot of pluses in this because a lot of concatenation has to happen, is equal to x plus y over here. There you go. And we will also return this for this particular method. How does that work? Well, we'll use the return keyword right here, and we'll simply return x plus y. So this is going to be whatever we return. In this case, of course, it expects an integer, and that's exactly what it gets. Nothing to worry about. All is well. So with this, the method is done and created. So now we can call it. Let's just do that, right? So let's say the method with parameters. Okay. Now what we have, parameters, output sum. You can see it suggests this to us, and this IntelliSense tells us exactly what this method has and does, right? We have to put in 2 integers over here, and it returns an integer. That's why IntelliSense is so absolutely amazing. We autocomplete this with tab, and let's say we do 10 and 20, and that's it. Now, in this case, it's not throwing any errors because while, yes, it returns something, we don't have to use it in this case, right? We can also just call it. However, we can also do a sout over here and say calling the method, right? And then just like for the sake of argument, and then inside of the print line, we can say output sum, and let's say 67 and then 69, for example. And that also works because when we put in the output sum, that is going to return to us an integer that we can simply continue to use, right? So we can even say result over here, and we can say 100 or 1,000, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. Plus output sum of 10 and 10, right? We can do that as well because the expression over here, right? The sum call is treated as an integer because by the nature of the method signature, we have basically sort of, I don't want to use this language, which might be confusing, but basically we said to the program, listen, when we call the method output sum, it's going to return us an integer so we can use this. So if we were to run this, the first thing that's going to happen is the sum of 10 plus 20 is 30. So this is this call right here. Then going into the system right here, boom. Then the second one is the sum of 69 and 69 is 136. Let's make them 136 the next meme over here. So that's going to be this method call. But then after this is output, right? Then we return x plus y. So that means that then the next thing that happens is the system is going to be calling the method 136, right? So this is when we've called the method and we've returned the same integer. And finally, here we've still called the method, and obviously every time we call the method, we will get the output right here, right? We can of course, in theory, also remove the output, right? We could comment this out and only have it return x and y, but maybe that's something that you want, or maybe that's something you don't want. Either way, it's totally fine. And now, we have sort of gone through the basics and sort of how the methods work, method signatures, talked about the parameters and certain keywords, key phrases, and also how, let's say, the certain vocabulary, how important vocabulary is in this case, parameters, right? Now, we can do another thing. Now this is I've never explained methods like this, but maybe you're still a little bit, okay, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sold on this, right? Sell me on this, okay? I will sell you on it. Let's say what we want to do is we want to bake a cake. So let's make a public static void and let's call this bake cake, okay? So this is the bake cake method, right? Now, to bake a cake, now you might say, to bake a cake, we need a couple of steps. I would say that that's fair, right? This is not a thing where you can just say, oh, just bake a cake, right? You can't just call like cake.bake. I mean, yes, but also probably not, right? We need to do a couple of things. Let's say we need to preheat the oven to 250 degrees Celsius, right? We might need to pour some flour, right? So this is going to be baking the cake. Now we need to add salt, right? Maybe we now need to pour water, right? And then we need to add the baking powder, right? I think that's fair, powder, right? And then maybe we need to knead the mixture, right? So we need to get in there, right? And knead the mixture. Then we need to put it into the oven for 20 minutes, okay? And then we might need, lots of other steps, right? Which we're gonna just sort of ignore. Now, of course, we could do all of this individually. That would be totally fine, right? So I'm just gonna copy over some comments over here that I've prepared. We could do this individually, right? So we could start by, now in this case, obviously, we're just outputting things into the console, right? Nothing is quote unquote really happening, but I just wanted to sort of have you sort of look at this, right? So let's see, we're gonna system out over here. So this is south, and we're gonna say preheat the oven to 250 degrees Celsius. Okay, we can do that. And then let's say the next step is going to be, we want to pour some water. No, pour flour. Okay, awesome. And then we add salt, right? So we can do all of this. This is totally fine, right? And then we pour some water and so on and so forth. But then it's like, okay, and then what do we do? Then we add some baking powder. And now all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I mean, sure, that does work, but we're doing each of these individually. And now what I want you to think about is that maybe that's not just an output. Maybe, preheating the oven also does a couple of other things. Go towards the oven, turn the knob, things like that. So like right now, obviously, the things are only outputting something into the console. But maybe this is even more complicated. And not only that, now let's think about something completely crazy. We're doing the same thing a couple of times, aren't we? Like, we're pouring flour in this case, and here we're pouring water, and here we're adding salt, and here we're adding baking powder. So we are repeating things. Okay? Repeating things. And when you repeat something, that means maybe we can make some methods, right? Maybe we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment the system out print lines here out so that we have this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create methods for each of these things. What we're going to do is I'm going to copy over the methods and then I'll explain my thinking of them, okay? Because if we go through each of them, I think it's a little bit too much. So, of course, here is a very important thing. There we go. This is awesome. So if I were to say, get those methods, right? Let's say you copy over those methods and you're like, okay, copy them in. And you're like, oh, everything is red. What has happened? What has happened? Everything's broken. First things first, Control Z. Everything's fine again. You're good. Not to worry. Right, and you're like, okay, I don't know what happened. Let's paste them in. Everything's broken again. Yes, because you have to be very careful where you are. Because currently, we're inside the bake cake method. Look at this, right? So bake cake method, if I paste it in here, if I Control V here, everything is going to break because you can't define another method inside of a method like this. That does not work. We have to go outside, and then if I paste it in, all of a sudden, everything works. I've seen this numerous times, when people copy just parts of a code that they just do that. That's not good. Now, if we can see this, what we now have is different methods. We have a pour method, pour flour, pour water, an add method, add certain ingredient here. We can knead the mixture. We can put it into the oven for a set number of minutes. We can remove it from the oven and we can also preheat the oven. So now all of the steps that we've defined previously, we can do with methods and it looks like this. Now what you can tell me is whatever you want, but this is readable as frick, okay? Preheat oven 250 degrees. Pour flour, add salt, pour water, add baking powder. Knead mixture, put in oven for 20 minutes. Remove from oven, boom. That is what we wanted to see, right? Now, not only is this way more readable, so this is one of the effects that methods have. Obviously, it's also just way nicer to read, and it's not as much, right? Maybe, like I said, preheating the oven actually needs you to walk towards the oven, and it needs you to, find the knob of the oven and things like that, right? So right now, like I said, we're still a little bit limited in terms of we just output things, right? But I'm telling you, hopefully it makes sense to you as what happened here, where we said the high order thing that we want to do is we want to bake a cake. And then we've broken down what it means to bake a cake. We want to preheat the oven, and we want to pour the flour, and we want to add the salt, and we want to pour the water, and so on and so on and so forth. And that's basically what we've done with each individual method over here. Does it need to be, absolutely 100% always be each individual method? No, there's all sorts of different, what would you say, like paradigms for it, and, should you, how long should methods be, all of that stuff. For right now, it doesn't interest us. The only thing that interests me, hopefully, that I've hopefully conveyed over here, is that methods are extremely powerful, because if we want to do something, multiple times, and we basically have a set sort of quote-unquote algorithm that we want to call again, then we can put that into a method, and we can repeat this. And now the cool thing is, if I want to, let's say, bake multiple cakes over here, right, I can just go to my main method right here. I can just say bake cake. And you know what I can do? I can call it as often as I want. And each time I call it, each one of the individual methods is called here again. Because, of course, inside of methods, you can call other methods. So you can break things down and down and down and further, and it gets so much easier, because when you have a baked cake, it's a very high level concept, right? What does it mean to bake a cake? There's so many different steps to bake a cake, right? But then I can just be like, okay, this is baking a cake. I understand roughly what that means. And if you really want to know how it works, you go to the method and you look at what it does, and it tells you if the method names are correct and if the method names are good, and then I can just simply play this out, and we can see we're baking freaking four different cakes, and everything's fine because we preheated the oven and everything is freaking great. Awesome. I don't know if this example was good or not, like genuinely, this is the first time I've used it, but I did, when I wrote this out previously, like sort of when I was preparing for this, I did think this was a pretty illustrative example of this, right? Feel free, of course, once again, to leave me some feedback down below, right? I always appreciate it. But that's going to be basically the idea of methods. Of course, we will be using methods so many more times in the future. Now we are outside of the main method right here, and I'm telling you, oh baby, this is going to be great. Okay, this is going to be awesome. And hooey, that's all I can tell you. Hooey, okay? But yeah, that's going to be it for this video right here. I really hope you found this useful and you learned something new. I'll see you all in the next video. So, yeah.